Welcome back, friends. I'm so excited to share part 2 with you, where I discuss how God and yoga helped me get through a quite stressful situation while I was at the Brooklyn Museum and other great things it's done for me. Enjoy!
It could do that for sure. So, yoga does that. I mean, you're getting two kinds of healing, and there's nothing like it. You really get a kind of high that is special. And also, I could see, I could see why some people like in cults, like was it Manson, where they would do yoga and then they drink the Kool-Aid. I can't remember. You will know what I'm talking about, or you will look it up, or I will look it up and correct myself when I post this video.
After a quick Google search, I couldn't find anything linking either Charles Manson or James Warren Jones, the Kool-Aid cult leader, to using yoga as a manipulation tool. However, I think I was confusing it with the Criminal Minds episode, and I still think it is plausible, as I found articles discussing how yoga can be used to manipulate.
But I could just see why cults can use yoga to really control your mind, to brainwash you. Because when you do yoga, you are in a very, very vulnerable state. You're in an open state. You're opening your mind as you open your body. And that's what it's about. And so you could be, if someone's, influential in your life and they're using yoga as well, I could see why you would believe what was being told to you. It's very crafty. But since I'm very open and vulnerable and I believe that God is my higher power, that's who I tap into. So when I am feeling things, I just use yoga to talk to God. And then after, when I'm lying on the mat, letting the practice, settle in, and have my devotions with God. I talk to the Lord, whatever's on my mind, or I just pray in the Spirit, The groanings of my spirit it's the heavenly language. So God knows what I'm saying. He knows my needs. He knows what I'm praying for. I'll just picture someone's face in my mind, and then I'll utter the words that come to me, and God is interpreting that in the way as the prayer that person needs. So it's perfect for yoga. Another thing. Oh, yeah. As you can see, it calms you, it relaxes you. And so I wanted to share an unrelaxing experience I had Sunday. I went to the museum with my girlfriend, Shanae, and we went specifically to see this exhibit that is Soul of a Nation, Art in the Time of Black Power. So we're very excited to see that. And I had this water bottle, which I always have with me wherever I go, because it's important to stay hydrated. And I suffer migraines. Way, way less. I suffered chronic migraines for over 16 years. For more than 6 years, they were daily. Even until this last year. And since I became a vegan and started practicing yoga daily, my migraines are, wow. See, I can't even remember. I'll sometimes get like a low one where I rate them on a scale where it just feels like someone's flicking. So like a dull thud, maybe like a 2 is what I call that. But I mean, I was getting them off the charts, 10 and higher. 10 is I literally can't do anything in the complete dark, with an eye mask, earplugs. You literally can't do anything. You can't even sleep because your head hurts so much. You can't cry because it hurts so much to cry. And it would be hard because I would have to work through that, and people don't understand migraines. And even if they did, people are people. Oh, yeah, you get to see Sharon. She's so cute in the little house. I love that. She's in my video. That's my baby. So, I now get migraines maybe once every 2 weeks. I pretty much get them just before my period, because they're hormonal migraines. But I don't even want to call them migraines because I'm believing in my deliverance and my healing. I'll say they're headaches. Often now I can take an aspirin and it will dissipate, which never worked before. Nothing would work except for marijuana. So, and I don't believe in taking pills that aren't natural. So that's another reason why I've been on this health journey of self-love. Self-love means if I suffer chronic migraines and exercise can help, if eating better can help, if being calm, not stressed, and causing myself anxiety can help, staying hydrated can help, I'm going to do all these things. You know, I'm going to self-heal. I don't need a doctor for everything, for most things. You know, we are all people and we do our best with what we have. Okay? So, the situation Sunday, we went to the museum, had my water. Before we got to the correct floor, we were going through just like what was on the entry level after we paid for our tickets. And this gentleman, not of color, and I mention that because it's important to the story, I feel. There is a little hair. Okay, I keep staring at it. I fixed it now. I'm so easily distracted sometimes. Anyway, so this gentleman, as soon as I'm walking up, you can't have that. Just rude. And I was a security guard for 2.5 years. So, and I dealt with very difficult people. So to be on the other side, it's like, really? Okay. That's how you're acting to someone who is a paying customer, who has had no contact with you. Anyway, so he was rude. You can't have that water. I'm like, well, I have to drink water and stay hydrated because I suffer chronic migraines. Well, you can't have that. You can only have a water bottle with a cap. And I'm like, well, that doesn't make sense because a water bottle with the cap is open and that would spill everywhere, where this has a cap and it has a straw. Like, and he's like, no, you can't have it. You can't have it. And it's like, okay, who is above you? Who is your supervisor? I would like to speak to them. You know? So then he directs me, and I'm like already praying in the spirit. So I get the man's of color. Could work for me. Maybe, maybe not. So I introduce myself. Hi, I'm Melissa. His name was Mr. B. And I tell him the situation. And he goes, okay, I need to make a decision. You know, I was just very pleasant. You know, I have to have water for this. You know, just like I said to the other gentleman. And he wouldn't allow me to have it. So then he goes, okay, if you get that plastic bag over there, that's for wet umbrellas, put your water in there. When you need a sip, just go off to the side, to the stairs, have a sip. I'm like, thank you so much, sir. So then I get it. And I'm an artist, so I'm like, really, I'm not trying to be like, oh, I'm painting! And throw my water, like, whatever. But no one can know what's in your heart. So I'm like, I get it, I was a security guard, like, you just have to give these rules, but when they don't make sense, like, I'm willing to follow it, but it doesn't make sense that you can have an open bottle, and that's something I would have to pay for, so, which is another reason I bring this, because I can just fill it up. And it's like, water is vital, you know, come on. So, I'm upstairs, I'm maybe in the exhibit, gosh, like, 5 minutes. I'm looking at a piece that is portraying the KKK. This white security guard comes over to me, maybe my age. And I just need to say this, side note. Because I am black, because I'm a female, because I look young, and because I look friendly and approachable, people deal with me sometimes very harshly. Initially, they think they can just walk all over me. They think I'm young, so they can just like boss me around or whatever. I don't know what's going on in their heads, but I've experienced that a lot because I've been in supervisory roles and I've had those attitudes, and I just have to shut that ish down because nope, don't be fooled by this exterior. Okay, strong black woman. So she comes over, just rude from the beginning. You can't have that water in here. What are you doing with that? And I'm like, I was taken aback because, wow, so rude. So I'm like, oh, I already spoke to the head security guard, Mr. B, and he said that I could have this water because I suffer chronic migraines as long as I keep it in this bag. See, at this time, I had it in the bag and the straw this much was sticking out because I forgot. So she goes, oh, well, you don't have it in the bag. You have it open and you're waving it around in front of the security cameras. Not even going to address all of that ridiculousness. That was untrue. So I look at her and I was like, I don't care for how you spoke to me in any way, but I'm going to put my water away because I just forgot. So then I go, trying to look. And for me, like, I don't like confrontation, but I will do it. I will stand up for myself. I will stand up for other people. Standing up for other people, that doesn't bother me at all. Standing up for myself, even me saying, like, I didn't care for how you spoke to me, that's huge for me. And I'm so proud because I would think these things, but I couldn't say it because I didn't want to be perceived as one of the myriad of negative stereotypes that have been placed on African American women. The Amy Black woman, the sassy black woman, wanting to cause trouble, blah, 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 all those things. And so I would just keep silent. But no, I'm all about speaking the truth in love, as my mom says, which she got from Jesus. Spoke the truth in love. And people didn't like it sometimes, but too bad. It's the truth. And I'm speaking in love. We need to treat each other better. And how can we expect that if we don't call people out when they're not treating us correctly? And I want to be treated a certain way, especially now. I was going to say, especially if I'm a paying customer, but F that. It doesn't matter if I'm paying or not. Like, treat me well because I'm a human and I deserve that. So, I had that adrenaline going because I was just like, that was an upsetting encounter, obviously. So it's just like pumping and I'm like, yoga. So I'm like, deep breaths. Think of your deep breathing. I knew something more was coming. I could just feel it. She's on her radio. So I'm like, okay, it's not over. So now I'm looking at a piece a little further away. Security guard comes in, talks to her. I can hear them talking about me. This is their supervisor. So I just turn around. I say, I can hear you talking about me, so I'll just come over. So I walk on over. And she goes, yes, she told me, like, you have water and you can't have it. I'm like, I already spoke to the head security guard, Mr. B, who said I could have this water because I suffer chronic migraine. She was very rude. So then she interrupts me and she's like, oh, like, she's new and, like, it's policy, so she doesn't. I'm like, please just listen to me. I'm like, she was very rude to me when she came over here and spoke to me. I did security for 2.5 years, so I understand having to follow rules, but you don't speak to people that way. And she tried to interrupt me again. I'm like, please just listen. I'm like, and the fact is, look at where we are. This is a white female approaching me, a black female, being rude, not being respectful of where we are. I am looking at artwork right now that's from the Black Power movement. I am looking at a piece that is the KKK. And to be spoken to in this manner, to have me disrupted in this important space when I'm coming here, to look at something that's very important to me, is just unacceptable. The fact that she's a white female and she called you, she escalated things, and she tried to interrupt again. I'm like, please just listen to me. And she escalated things. When I did what she asked, it was unnecessary. There was no reason to escalate. Why did she need to call you? And in this climate, there's no excuse for that. So it may not have been because of race, but the fact is that intersectionality is an issue and it needs to be thought of in this moment. So that's just something to think about. And I was like, after the fact, I was like, wow, Alyssa, you go, girl. Because that was huge for me. Because what was happening was not okay. I immediately felt like the girl who was sleeping on the couch at her college who had the cops called on her by a white woman, her white peer. I immediately felt like the black girls who were staying in an Airbnb and had a white woman call the cops on her. I felt like the black men in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, I can't remember where it was, who were in Starbucks and had a non-black employee call the cops on them. That's how I felt. And it was a horrible feeling. And it's like, yes, New York is progressive in so many ways, but it still has its issues because it still has people. And this is a global issue. So to think that one area isn't going to suffer those issues is just, I won't say it's naive, but may not be the same level, but we're dealing with it everywhere. So I spoke to Miriam, that was the supervisor, and she responded, "Oh, she's new, I'm sorry that she's rude like that. Some people, get too into it or whatever." She said something to the effect of that. I was like, "No, I understand that. I worked with some people like that too." And I had a little conversation with her because even though I don't need to explain my behavior and standing up for myself, I wanted to have a small connection with her so she can see, no, I'm not any of these negative things you may think of because the world says I'm that way. I am a person who deserves to be respected, and I'm pointing out when I'm not being respected and when issues that are, in our media that are happening all the time and they're being pointed out, when I'm going to be occurring, if I'm going to be in that situation, in that circumstance, I'm going to point it out so you can see, hey, that happens in my life too. I'm a part of that. And so I had a small conversation with her. I introduced myself, shook her hand, her name was Miriam, and she was like, "Oh yeah, there's more exhibit on the fourth floor, blah blah blah." And I was like, "Thank you so much. I really appreciate, talking to you, your conversation." And so we left it that way. So yoga, fasting, God, all helped me in that situation. I had started my day off with yoga. So I got myself in my Zen state. I did my devotionals. I fast on Sundays until 5 p.m. To focus more on God, and I stay away from electronics. I strive to, so that I can focus on reading and focus more on God, because it's so easy to just get wrapped up in whatever you're doing, and then I forget why I'm fasting when I'm hungry. So when you fast and you get hunger pains, that's when you're supposed to pray. It's your prompt. But if I'm doing other things, I forget about my hunger pains and I'm not praying. So the fast isn't, being intentional, which is why I'm doing it in the first place. So that's also why I stay hydrated. An extra reason, especially during fast, you have to stay hydrated. I'll talk more about fasting when I talk about veganism, but just a quick tip: if you want to fast, do not eat anything at all. Just drink water. Because if you eat anything, even at first I was having a smoothie in the morning and then fasting. No, as soon as you have any kind of food, your body is expecting more, so then you're going to be hungry, and then I would get migraines. But now that I just fast without eating anything, just drinking water, I don't feel hungry. I fasted, my longest fast has been, I want to say 22 hours, and I was fine. I was out walking, I was doing things, so it's really cool. So yoga got me through that situation because I did my deep breathing and calmed myself. I was fasting, so I was praying in the spirit during, before, and after. So I was able to encounter all of that. And I was able to speak up when I needed to because I was not spiritually weak or even emotionally weak. So friends, yoga is just so wonderful, and it introduces you to a whole new community. It will expand your mind. It will free you from yourself, help you to love yourself, think of yourself better. It will just give you so much. So I really hope that you will try it and see what it does for you. Thank you so much for being here, friends, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.